Next, we're going to hear from our other major partner in underwriting today's event. With us today is Franklin Reynolds, President and Chief Executive Officer of UIL Holdings Corp. Mr. Reynolds oversees the electricity and natural gas operating companies of Avangrid networks in Connecticut and Massachusetts. These include United Illuminating of Connecticut, Southern Connecticut Gas, Connecticut Natural Gas, and Berkshire Gas of Massachusetts. Again, we cannot thank our partners enough for making this event possible. We're excited to hear from Frank, who will be discussing Avangrid's role in supporting equitable home ownership in Connecticut. Please join me in welcoming UIL Holdings President Frank Reynolds. Frank?
Good afternoon. It is bright up here. Hey, so I've been sitting in the back of the room for most of the morning enjoying the conversation, the discussion that's been taking place here today, and I got to tell you guys, you've done a fantastic job putting this together. The information that's been shared has been riveting, and I'm going to share a couple of things about what we do at Avangrid to help the cause. And so, as Rick mentioned, so I'm the CEO of UIL Holdings. Just to kind of give you a little bit of the footprint, basically we serve Southern Connecticut Gas, Connecticut Natural Gas, as well as United Illuminating and Berkshire Gas, all told roughly 740,000 customers in Massachusetts and Connecticut. We have 1,800 employees that try to deliver clean burning natural gas to you guys every day and reliable electricity. The other thing that I wanted to make mention of is, we're also part of Avangrid, which is a much bigger company, which has companies not only in the states that I just made mention of, but also in New York and also in Maine, serving roughly 3.1 million customers. The other aspect of our business is our renewables business. So Avangrid has a renewables business, which is the third largest wind power producer in the country, quite frankly. And we're very proud to say that we have the very first offshore wind project that's going to bring 1,000 megawatts of clean energy into New England starting in the 2024 timeframe, currently under construction off the coast of Massachusetts. So very excited about that, very excited about our energy future and everything that we have to deliver. Before I make a few comments, the governor was here. I certainly want to thank Rick for the opportunity, as well as Mayor OLeary. And the governor was here a little bit earlier. I was with him last week at a similar forum over at the Yale School of Management. And there were about 70 or so folks from elected officials. There were folks from academia, folks from a lot of businesses across the state of Connecticut, and not-for-profits. And we spent about an hour and a half with Professor Sonnenberg. You may have read a little bit about the work that he's done on Ukraine and its economic impact, or lack of economic impact in his opinion. But we spent about an hour and a half talking about a number of issues. And what was really telling to me was, by the end of the night, there were two themes, and you guys have been all over it today in terms of the themes. The first theme was around the 100,000 jobs that needs to be filled in Connecticut, right? 100,000 jobs in order for Connecticut to continue to have the success it's had over the past 4 years and continue well into the future. The second theme that came out of it, though, which was more telling and probably dominated, I would say, more than half of the conversation, was affordable housing. And so I'm really pleased with the comments that were made earlier by that particular panel, because I think, at the end of the day, it's a tough nut to crack, so to speak. It's a difficult issue to make sure that we get our hands around. But the good thing is everybody that walked out of that room that night understood that we need to tackle that in order for Connecticut to continue to thrive. And so I just wanted to share just a few things that we're doing, but I also wanted to commend the panel for their comments that they made a little bit earlier. So, and I'll be very brief here. So you'll hear me say partnerships quite a bit here, because one of our approaches is really to partner with the various agencies within the communities that we serve. And so I've just listed 3 of them here. Of course, there are many more that we try to support and we try to engage with on a regular basis, because you guys are doing fantastic work, and we want to make sure that we can support you to the best of our ability. And so you can see in New Haven, we've got neighborhood housing services that we support, Open Hearth, which is out of Hartford, and then Home for the Brave, which is out of Bridgeport. And Home for the Brave, if I could just dig down on that just for a second, because I am a veteran. I spent 20 years in the military here in Connecticut, and really pleased with the work that they're doing. I was down there not too long ago with Vincent Tilley and his team, and what they're doing for veterans, trying to get veterans back on their feet, folks that were willing to make the ultimate sacrifice, not only for the country, but certainly for the state of Connecticut here, was absolutely impressive. I mean, so they're giving these folks not only housing and healthy meals like we just had here at lunch. That was a great box lunch, by the way, to the staff here. But also, giving them the training that they need to get back into the job and into the workforce. And so if you ever have an opportunity to get down there and visit with those folks, I highly encourage it because they're doing fantastic work. The other aspect that I wanted to make mention of here is workforce development. So as I mentioned before, 100,000 jobs in the state of Connecticut, and just as a little bit of a segue, a shameless plug here, 50% of our employees across Avangrid are eligible to retire over the next 5 years. And so we're working with a number of agencies to forecast where we see gaps within our workforce, but also make sure that we can fill those particular positions. And these are local jobs. They provide an excellent service to the community, and our employees love to give back. So we're working with a lot of different agencies to try and fill that gap. But more recently, we've been working with agencies such as Career Resources in Bridgeport and Hartford, the Greater Hartford Urban League, Youth Empowerment Circle, and the workplace in order to make sure people have the skills that are necessary to enter the job and workforce so that they can help Connecticut fill some of the 100,000 jobs that are open right now, but also help us to continue to thrive as a community. And if I could, again, just drill down a little bit, because you can see in this photo here, we were in Hartford at Strive. Now, this was probably a couple months ago now. And you can see Lieutenant Governor Bicewicz there, and we were presenting them with some funding to help with their programs. But one of the particular programs that I wanted to make mention of was something that resonated with me, something the governor mentioned earlier, and that is leave no one behind and lift everyone up. And they have a program that's called Strive, and it's really focused on reentry individuals. So folks who have had interaction, if you will, with the criminal justice system, those are the folks that sometimes need help the most. And they've got a program that is very dedicated to helping those folks re-enter the workforce, giving them the appropriate skills. And I got to tell you, while we were there that afternoon, had an opportunity to hear from 3 or 4 individuals that were graduates of the program and all the difference that it's made in their lives. And it just warmed my heart to see that the money that we were putting forth is going to a great outcome at the end of the day. So again, another kudos to the folks over there at Career Resources, but all the agencies that we help out here. And then the third prong really that we try to focus in on is financial literacy. Because at the end of the day, we recognize that in order for folks to be able to own homes, and we want the people to own homes but also keep homes, is by getting their financial house in order. And, so I'll just reference again, last week while we were at Yale, the CEO of Tomo was in the room with us, and Tomo is a mortgage company, right? So it's basically a company that's looking to disrupt the mortgage process by making it much more accessible, making it much more affordable for folks to be able to own homes, which is, I'm sure they'll be successful. But I think we all recognize that in order for folks to be able to own a home, they first need to make sure that they've got their financial house in order. So very pleased that we're able to support organizations such as TEAM, as well as building neighborhoods together. And I got to tell you, again, I'm sitting in the back of the room and heard the panel a little bit earlier, and David from TEAM, who was so passionate up here, I said to my colleague Jalmar that I think we need to give some more money to TEAM because they're doing a fantastic job. And so, yeah, David, wherever you are, we need to talk here this afternoon because you guys are doing good work. And I'll just go off script here just for a second because I don't think Mayor Cassetti was able to make it here today, but as I mentioned, I spent 20 years in the military, and 10 of it was in Ansonia. And I got to tell you, I was there not too long ago, and they've just done fantastic work to revitalize Main Street there. The work that they've done to put affordable housing and more housing into the community, as well as businesses, is just fantastic. And I could say the same for Mayor Loretti and Mayor Zeke over in Derby. They're doing fantastic work. you guys are on fire. The valley is on fire. I mean, it's just going fantastic, and I think you guys have a lot of momentum right now, and we want to, be side by side with you guys, partnering on helping to build on that momentum and delivering what it is that we want to deliver for Connecticut, which is just a great place to live and work. And then my last comment here really is around, successful home ownership. So putting it all together, financial literacy, workforce development, and certainly making sure that people have the skills to enter the workforce. Our employees love to give back, so we tend to partner with organizations, again, such as Habitat for Humanity, which helps folks who are housing insecure get affordable homes within their own names, but also, give them programs and training around the mortgage process so that they can ultimately own a home and, as I mentioned before, keep a home. So very proud of the work that our employees do to help in this aspect, but again, very proud of the work that we try to do across Avangrid to promote the cause here, which is more affordable housing and more people entering the workforce. So with that, I really appreciate you guys' attention, and again, very pleased with everything that you guys are doing, and whatever we can do to help, please let us know. Thank you and have a great afternoon.